this show, It's a Sin, bought the rights were bought by HBO, and 5 episode series about a group of gay men in the UK, London, in from 1981 to 1991, during the height of the AIDS pandemic. Um,
Mhm.
pretty pretty heavy content, but I think the show did a really nice job of kind of handling the emotional balance, and just a really surprising but pleasurable watch. Did you like It's a Sin, Dave?
I did like it, so, yeah, for those reasons too. This was a big hit over in the UK at the end of January on Channel 4, and as you said, kind of another co-production, more of an acquisition by HBO. Shows from Russell T Davies, who just had a show on HBO last year, Years and Years, which I remember seeing those ads a lot. Didn't end up watching it, but Russell T Davies probably most famous for the beginning the reboot of Doctor Who about 15 years ago. And in general, it makes a lot of stuff. Look at that TV. He has been involved with a lot of TV. Um, and yeah, I think Instant interests me off the jump because of its lead performance being given to us by Ali Alexander, the lead singer of Years and Years, a synth band I like quite a bit. And that was just cool to me because, he's, one of the more famous gay people in the music scene at this point, in terms of new artists. And uh, we knew he was an actor, and when we started listening to his music a few years back, and this is probably the most high profile thing I've seen him in as an actor. So I was just cool to see that, and are interested to see what that would be like. I actually do think he's quite talented.
Yeah, I was really surprised by his performance, and I even thought it got stronger as the episodes went on. You know what? I think the first episode is such a memorable episode of TV to me because I feel like it
Yeah.
sets up everything about the show, but not in an obvious way, right? You kind of have the like getting the group together beginning where like you're following these 4 to 5 guys as they are each finding their way to London where they meet each other and start living together and becoming friends, and each coming from different circumstances and having different experiences with their families. Obviously, you have Roscoe, played by Omari Douglas, whose family from Africa, Nigeria, is
Mhm.
very not accepting of his sexual orientation as a gay man, and will actually want to send him back, where he will certainly be beaten and potentially even killed for living this way. So he runs away from home. You have Richie, played by Ali Alexander, who is going to school for finance, or I think it was law actually, and uh, really struggling with coming out to his family. And um, probably one of my favorite characters, Colin, played by Colin Scott Howells, who very quiet and reserved and becoming a tailor. Like there's all these interesting stories kind of bringing them all together. Um, and you kind of think it's just going to be like this like buddy pal, like a bunch of gay men finding their sexuality and becoming and then dealing with like the family drama type of thing. And then Neil Patrick Harris kind of has this presence in the first episode, and you're like, what's his role going to be in this? I thought it was going to kind of be like mentor, like showing the ropes, and he actually ends up being the one who kind of sets up the rest of the plot, where he falls sick with AIDS and dies by the end of the first episode. And you're like, oh, okay, this is what the show is going to be about. I thought it was really brilliantly set up, and one of the best episodes of TV I've watched in a while. What were your thoughts around that episode?
Yeah, I agree because I also didn't know what to expect. I was like, are they playing off like it's Colin gonna be tragic? Is this gonna be like some like a predatory
Mm,
figure or something because of what
right.
happens with the other guy at the
The
store?
boss.
And it's like, what's going on here? But no, it's like I think the show does a really good job of like showing the different kinds of like allies there are
Mhm.
to gay people at the time. It's both straight and fellow gays. So uh, yeah, it was a really great performance. One of the better showings from NPH in some time. I really can't remember the last time I really enjoyed him since like I don't know, like Gone Girl. Like it's kind of been a
Mhm.
minute.
Yeah, for sure. No, I thought he was great. And it was actually sad to see him go, but also like I feel like
Yeah,
that's a trick a lot of shows do, kind of like The Outsider with Jason Bateman. You have him for that one episode, and then
yeah, sure.
not in it anymore after that. Yeah, so talk to me about the other parts of the season that really stood out to you, or what you really liked about it.
Yeah, man. So you said like there's a lot of levity to it, right? Like I feel like, especially in the beginning, everyone feels like a really well-rounded character that you're invested in because they just seem so happy and there's such like sense of camaraderie, right? I actually didn't like as much the way the show progressed, where we started to focus a lot on Richie, and like a lot of his friends were kind of sidelined, and the last of their screen time was more about them relating to Richie. And I guess I
Mhm.
get it. Like, you cast your most famous character to be the lead, and the lead's going to get the meaty stuff. So I understand like why the plot went that way. But I actually would have just liked more time, because like, as you said, like each episode, like we actually like skip ahead like years at a time, and um I just would have liked more time to color it in even more, just because I really like that dynamic. Like
Mhm.
at the Pink Palace, what they called their house,
Mhm.
their flat. Like, that was really, really, really great. And like, thinking of stuff that's portrayed AIDS, like Normal Heart, or even The Deuce, right, where
Right.
the uh, AIDS coming up and becoming more well known. It's just one of many plots in The Deuce season 3, but still done really well, and I think really effectively. In this case, because we're in England, like they're kind of talking about, oh, it's like really bad in America, but
Mhm.
that's an American problem. Kind of presciently brought me back to like COVID denialism. Oh, COVID, no,
Yeah.
that's a Chinese problem. That doesn't matter to us.
Mhm.
Um, unfortunately, that's how I felt. And I think actually having Richie, having your lead, kind of being the one that's spreading some like bad misinformation, right? And
Yeah.
later on, they're like, "Hey, you voted for Margaret Thatcher, who very much has passed homophobic legislation. Like, what's up with that, dude?" And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And so I feel like there's just so much more meat to It's a Sin, but it's still really well done.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually think if there is one thing I found myself feeling uh sad about, or maybe like disappointed with the show, it was that I agree that Richie became too much of the focus. Like Roscoe and his family, you can kind of see the threads kind of being tied back together in some way. And I feel like you don't really get the satisfying return that I was hoping for, the resolve with that relationship, whichever direction it would have gone in. I mean, it seems like he ends up forgiving his dad by the end, and that's kind of where they want you to kind of feel at peace with it. But I feel like there was just so much more to like go through and look at with that. Um, Lydia, like her I think her parents just kind of show up at the end, or was that like friends who like come to console her? And I was kind of like, I need to know more about
Yeah,
what's the
Jill,
dynamic
you
here.
mean, played by
Sorry,
Lydia
Lydia
West?
West.
Yeah,
Sorry, Jill.
yeah, I wasn't sure about that either. And she also an interesting character, right? Because she is a straight woman who's friends with them, but her whole presence on the show is really just how she's taking care of and guiding these gay people through the worst moment of their lives, right?
Yep.
Again, more room to flesh out that character. I did read uh, there's a piece that was positive on the show on Vulture, but it was critical because Jill and also Ash, sorry, and Roscoe are the minorities,
Hmm.
but they're almost sidelined
Right.
from like the worst of the show
Hmm.
as we focus on Richie. And like, I don't know, like, on the other hand, we've seen like minorities get killed off early and put to the side, so it's like it's kind of complicated. And like, you understand, Russell T Davies, he wanted a famous out British person who be Richie, and that's how they landed on Ollie pretty quickly. I
Hmm.
understand why Ollie is who he is playing, but yeah, these were strong enough characters that this could have been like an 8 episode miniseries.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. How did you feel about the last episode where it pretty quickly becomes Richie back with his parents, apart from the group? What were your feelings around that?
Yeah, I kind of struggled at the end there.
Hmm. Me
Like the
too.
stuff with them, like it was just Jill versus his mom.
Hmm.
I actually I kind of liked how they did with his parents. Like his dad actually responded in the I think the
empathetic
subverting
way.
way, like, you didn't expect him to act that way, the way he had been played up the
Yep.
series that far. But like, it was kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of distracting. And, like, it almost, the show kind of ended like a little more narrowly than I expected.
Mhm. Yeah, I was definitely struggling with it. On the one hand, I think it's a fairly realistic portrayal of how parents back then could have responded to the situation they were put in, finding out that their son has AIDS and is gay all at the same time. Um, on the other hand, it did just feel like they were kind of creating further conflict, where the show was already coming to its like emotional apex and ending with Richie's death anyway. And I have to say, when the mom said he passed away last night to Jill, my heart just sank. I was so sad and disappointed that we didn't get to see that. And obviously, that's what the show was going for. And but just totally disappointing we didn't get to see one last get together between the crew.
Yeah, I think I was actually most affected even earlier when Colin
Yeah,
takes the turn for the worse, because it's like, oh man, this is, because
this
like
is
they're setting it
the
up right as he's kind
sweetness.
of this like naive, really kind person,
Mhm,
setting it to be preyed upon at work, loses his job when he doesn't give in, right? And then he gets AIDS pretty fast, even though he's not a you know, reckless casual sex having person like say Richie
mhm,
was, right? And it's like, yeah, they did a good job of kind of coloring in just how wide reaching the AIDS epidemic, especially was in the '80s, where like, and I think that's the best part about the show. It's early on, right? Like no one knows anything,
mhm.
and when they do know things, they're not telling anyone anything. So
Yep.
no one knows what to do and what not to do. That's a big part of what happens in the movie The Normal Heart. It's like you're either killing us and you don't care, right? It's like, uh, I get that the show didn't want to like dive full into like the big picture, macro, socio political stuff, and you had good enough characters. You didn't need to do that. But I just really like seeing that and seeing these characters react to their circumstances. But next thing you know, we're like 6 years past like the inception point when people start learning,
Mhm.
what AIDS is. So it just
Yeah,
happened
no,
fast.
I totally agree. I think Colin's death is so well done because like you said, you subvert the expectation of him kind of being this like, all right, he's like the sweet character who's, I'm saying simple just in terms of his like desires in life are more simple than a lot of the other characters in the show. He just is happy to work a job and have an easy, or not easy life, but like a fulfilling life in that way. He's not looking for like the fame or stardom that, or the riches that the others are. And then he's the one who gets sick so quickly and has this happen where then it subverts the whole way that everybody else in the show is responding to what's going on. And you pretty quickly after that see Richie, he calls in that hotline, is asking all the questions and all the things he's heard, all the rumors he's heard. Is drinking battery acid a way that I can get this out of my system, things like that. You see Roscoe burning all of his stuff and throwing it all out and like scrubbing his room that he had been sharing. It's like seeing the way that all the the information is like comes to them, and the way that they start to learn about it and then react to it and respond is very very fascinating. But Colin was I think a really great character, and then the reveal of how he actually got it I thought was really well done too, because you are just kind of left like, how the hell did he get this? And it kind of alludes back to something they showed you in the beginning, just I thought really well done reveal. um yeah, the show's a triumph, and it's 5 episodes. It's an easy watch, and they have, like we said, they mix in a lot of levity, a lot of really fun moments, some really great needle drops, especially at the end of episodes. I think there's
Yeah,
a lot to like with this show for sure.
yeah. And the needle drops were good. They definitely paid up for this licensing, right? What's it? He had Sweet Dreams and Kids in America
Who
and
Wants to Live Forever from Freddie
Tainted Love. Yeah,
Mercury.
there were some bangers, no question.
Everybody Hurts in the last episode. I was like, man, they really went all out for this. What something Wonder Woman 1984 could never do. So,
Oh my god, I
shout out
forgot about that.
shout out to It's a Sin.